Hello, everyone. Hello, Ingrid. Good evening. Thank you for joining
Hello.
us. Uh-huh.
Hello, hello. Hi, Carlos. Hi,
Hello.
everybody. So good to be here and
Yes.
have you back today. And I have to mention that last week, Carlos, I'm sorry I left you
It's okay.
alone.
Yeah, no.
Mm,
Technical difficulties, always happen. It's okay.
You,
It's live, so
and I think that every time that we're like having such a high vibrational frequency, it
mhm.
always happens to you and me, Carlos, and to
Yes.
I think many of the people that work with these kind of subjects is like all
I
the
know.
equipment goes crazy. But now we're back and very, very happy to be with everybody here today. And if you can, like last time, just write in the chat right there, where are you coming? Where are you
Yes.
coming from? Where are you seeing us from?
You can send us a message. Tell them what city are you come from. Orlando. Thank you. Yadira. Reynosa. Thank you, Yadira. There you go.
I bet you're still in Atlanta, or that's
Yes,
or
in
that's New
Atlanta.
York.
No, it's Atlanta. What about you? Your basement or what?
Yeah, but of course I do. I am here in we have Chicago, Arizona, Colombia. Wow, that's good.
Oh wow, yeah. Los Angeles, Colombia. Sarah from Lincoln, UK.
Oh,
Wow.
thank you for being here from the UK. We know it's pretty late in Europe, so
Yeah,
thank you for being here despite the
thank
time.
you.
Yeah, this is so good to having just saying hi to everybody. So we give time to
Isha from
people.
India. Wow.
Oh, India. That's oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Thank you, Usha. Wow, amazing.
It's so good to have. Hey, hi, Nate. It's so good to have you here. Oh, so good to have everybody here. And I
Yeah,
know that more people are going to join because I think the subject today is really cool because I
important,
think
right?
many people, yeah, ask this question and ask these questions to themselves. And we are here answering questions that people actually have put in, like on our Facebook pages or that have texted to us or sent emails to us. Why don't you talk about these subjects? So that's what we're doing, actually talking about subjects that people are wanting to know. Hi, Logan. Oh, someday, yes, someday I will do. We will do a retreat here in the United States. So
Yeah.
the upcoming one is going to be in Spain. It's just started as a retreat in Spain, and now I'm going to be speaking in 3 different countries, 8 different cities, and 10 different venues. So this is just going to be incredible. And someday Carlos and I will be also doing things together.
Yes.
So we have hello Ingrid and Carlos from New York. Join you after your conversation with Alex on
Um,
next level.
yes.
Looking forward to your conversation today. Yes, that
Thank
Alex
you.
channel is just amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hmm.
So, okay, so I guess we start with our subject today.
Yes, definitely. I think enough people has joined us right now. So yeah, we can start. Go ahead.
Yes, so today we're going to talk about how do I know it is my spiritual guide and not me, the one talking in my head.
Yeah, and I just want to let you know, um, I just want to check on the dictionary what is intuition, because sometimes we think is our mind talking to us, is our intuition, is our guardian angel or guides. So intuition, by the dictionary, say is the ability to understand something immediately without the need of conscious reasoning, like we shall allow our intuition to guide us. What do you think, Ingrid?
Wow, I just think that when we have that sense of, yeah, I think this is the sense of like there's a knowing,
Yes.
the sense of like, it's not just when this come, Carlos, the amazing thing is that it's not just a thing in the head. It doesn't just stay as something in the head. When
Mm-hmm.
you have that felt sense, when you have the sense of intuitive or the sense that you're feeling something, it comes from the gut or it
Yeah,
comes from the heart.
the sixth
It is,
sense.
yeah, so
How
it's a
many people
felt
feel
sense.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it doesn't, so that's very, very, very
Into
important
water. Hmm.
when we're trying to feel or sense or know the difference. Is like,
Hmm.
how does it feel? How does it feel? And for, we can even hear, and especially when we're talking about the relationship between moms, between mother
Hmm.
and children, is that sense like they always going to say, I felt it. I felt it in my gut. I felt it in my chest, or even with the sense I felt it in my throat. Is that sense of that comes with not just the knowing, but even sometimes the feeling is so strong. Carlos, what do you think, that it almost feels sometimes like an urge, like
Yes.
sense that you have to take action?
I just want to recommend everybody to watch this movie right here. It's called The Power of the Heart.
Hmm.
And this is like a documentary, and it have a lot of stories of people that they follow their heart and the consequences after that. And on the movie, there is a doctor that he's doing some tests and exams to the heart, and he discovered that the heart have like a second brain. It's like a second brain, and the heart is it have something that they can know the future before it happened. So how this doctor do this? He put some flashes of pictures to people, like beautiful pictures, and then one like a monster picture. And before the monster show up, they are measuring the heart of the people. You know, they are putting a stethoscope and they're checking they're monitoring the heart levels. And just 3 or 4 pictures before the monster come out, the heart start beeping fast. So the heart already know that something is coming. This is just an experiment. So imagine on real life. And I just want to tell you this story. When I was younger, I went to a concert with the Miami Sound Machine. And I remember that I was telling my dad, like, "Oh my God, I want to go, I want to go, I want to go." And my dad, "No, no, no, I don't want you to go, I don't want you to go." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I want to go." Anyways, my dad gave me the money to buy the ticket, and I didn't have. He didn't want to take me to the theater, right? And anyways, I call a taxi, so the taxi come home, pick me up, but on the way to this venue, my heart started beeping like really fast, like the heart is gonna come out of my mouth. And I was like, what is this? I never felt something like this before. And my heart like boom, 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 boom. And I was feeling like I was choking in the taxi. I was like, what the? And I was like, oh my God. And every time that we were getting closer and closer to the venue, my heart was about to explode, you know? And something inside of me said, don't go. Just turn around and go back home. And I was like, but I want to go. I don't want to go. I want to go. No, I was fighting that. I was in denial. Like, no, no, no. I want to go. I want to go. I want to go. But then my heart was even like beeping even faster, you know. And as soon as we get to the venue, I told the guy, the taxi driver, you know what? You're gonna think I'm crazy, but could you turn around and take me home? And the guy turned around and said, are you kidding me? You made me drive all this, like I don't know how many miles, like 30 miles to get here, and now you want me to go 30 miles back? Like you didn't even win. I said, like, I have a, I feel something is not, there is something going on, and I don't know what it is, but my heart is feeling it. But yeah, yeah, take me back. He took me back home. As soon as the taxi turned around, I felt like peace all over my body, like
Hmm.
somebody was showering me with honey. It was amazing, you know. And I feel like tranquility, and I feel amazing, you know. The next morning, my dad bring me the newspaper and said, look, after the concert outside, some guys start fighting and they have some guns and start shooting each other.
Oh.
So maybe if you were there, maybe that were for you, but because you followed your heart, you left the venue and you wasn't there, you know. So yeah, definitely your heart can save you from any situation, you know, and you never know. And one of the reasons that I can prove that it's not my heart or my guide sometimes when I'm trying to do something and I want to do this, then I heard like, hey, don't do that because for some reason it's not good, you know. And I was like, yeah, but I want to do it. I want to do it. No, don't do it. But yeah, but I want to do it. Don't do it. And then you do it, and then something happened. I was like, oh my god, I should hear my inner voice, you know. And how many times to everybody that is hearing this here happened? It happened to you, Ingrid? Do you have any story to tell us?
Yeah, there's like a lot of different stories of when the heart has said, but I wanted to say, I will share one of those. But when you're
Hmm.
talking about that research that is being
Hmm.
done about the heart, they have discovered actually that there's neurons in
Yeah,
the heart.
never. Yeah.
So there's true connections where we're actually working in connection, and the more we learn to quiet the mind and connect with the heart, now they can start actually talking. Like
Hmm.
it's like we're wiring the
Yeah.
heart with the head. So that's the part when we start really listening to that, let's call it inner voice, inner wisdom. So that is the word when we learn to quiet and calm the mind. And somebody in the comments at the beginning, before even we connected, was writing that how you know the more you start quieting your mind, the more you open a space to listen to that intuition. Because I always say, imagine you're in a room with a lot of noise. Imagine
Hmm.
our head full of garbage, full of noise. How are we supposed to hear anything? So we just can't, it's distracted. We cannot hear. And another thing, when you mentioned that, listen to the heart, because that's the voice of reason, that's the voice of love telling you don't do this, you're in danger. But that's, imagine that, the voice of connection too. Like when I had my near death experience when I was
Hmm.
a child,
Hmm.
and my mom was able to listen when I met her from floating there from above her. I'm like having fun, like woo. And the moment I said, oh, that's mom,
Hmm.
my mom felt it. And when I asked the being so live, what was the purpose of that experience, they said to bring the message of the
Hmm.
power of connection. And I said, what do you mean? And they said, yeah, what happened when the you went to the maid's room, and you even mentioned her name and nothing happened. There was no connection.
Hmm.
There was, so when there is no connection and our mind is somewhere else, is that doesn't even happen. But what happened with my mom and absolute love, unconditional love, and it's when we know that love doesn't have barriers and our hearts are touching. And
Hmm.
at that moment, I said, that's mom, and she could feel it. So, and but that's the other thing again, it's not just about sensing that something
Hmm.
is happening, but also listening to that intuition. Because, like you said, Carlos, if you don't listen, then you get in trouble.
Oh yeah, 100%. It happened to me. I think it happened to everybody that is listening the program right now. And yeah, I believe this for me, and I put it on my book. The heart is the voice of or a guardian angel. You know, the like
Mm.
our heart is our GPS. Is the GPS that's gonna take you to every road in your life. So wherever you go, you follow your heart because that's one of the only things you can trust. You trust your heart because your heart is gonna take you to a good place. You know, and I hear so many stories about people listening to your heart and being safe that we don't have to doubt, you know. And if it's something telling you don't go, it's for a reason. What do you think about that, Ingrid?
Yes, yes. And it brings me again, Carlos, to the felt sense. Because when
Hmm.
I started to hear the being so loud when I
Hmm.
was little, the
Hmm.
very first time they talked to me, it sounded like in a whisper. And I remember when they said to me, with it was this soft, loving, look at the words I'm using, peaceful,
Hmm.
loving, compassionate voice.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this loud, crazy, strange. No, it was a voice that when your mom or your dad or somebody that loves you talk to you with this whisper of love and you feel it. And it was this, I wasn't hearing something, I was feeling something. And when this being of light, I asked, why me? Why this is happening to me? And I would just be crying or something. The first whisper was like, it's going to take time for them to understand.
Wow.
And oh, and I remember because I was crying because I felt that I didn't need a name. And the being so light said, names are not needed in the realm of the light. And at that moment, just by hearing and sensing that voice that brought me to that place of peace and calmness and connection, that knowing that
Hmm.
that voice was the voice of the divine was clear. I didn't even have to test it, or I didn't even have to, it was just, I guess, that profound and that deep. So that's the moment when we know that that voice of knowing is bringing us to feel what you're mentioning all the time, Carlos, love.
Hmm.
Love. But you also can tell us, Carlos, and we can talk about what happens sometimes when we are not sure. And it's like, because we have to make a decision that is pretty difficult, and the mind is talking a lot. The mind can go just say, yeah, this could be this, but I don't know. So tell me, I have done it sometimes where I ask for validation. And I go ask, okay, show me a sign that this is not my head. So you have stories like that, Carlos?
Well, what I done in cases like that, like I surrender. When I cannot fight against the problem, I just surrender. I say, okay, God, like I cannot deal with this, and I know that something is gonna happen. I don't going around and around and around the problem all the times. I just put everything on God's hands, and I let everything, because your human mind is like your worst enemy. Because it's creating uh, problems, it's creating a lot of stuff that maybe will never happen. I read books that they say that at the end of the life they're being on a assisted living with people that is about to die with 90, almost 100 years old, and they say the worst thing in my life never happened because it was always in my mind. I always was imagining something really worse was going to happen, but it never happened. So we need to calm our mind. And just relax, just surrender. And I just want to let you know, it was yesterday I was checking a podcast. It was a clip from a podcast. A very famous actress in Mexico. She came out of a party really late in the middle of the night, around 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. And it was far from the city. So she was driving an SUV. Her husband was completely out. He was passed out sleeping. So she was driving, and then she fell behind her. A car started following her. So she get nervous, and she see a gas station. So she pull over at the gas station, and this car pull over behind her.
Mm.
So when the car pull over behind her, she's like, "Oh my God, they're really following me." So in that moment, she put drive, and she start running really fast on the highway, and the guys come out of the gas station and start following her. And then she started getting super nervous. And I done this before, but not with somebody follow me. Is when I get lost with my GPS on a mountain or something, I do the same thing that she did. So I was surprised that she did it. And she was saying that she started praying loud, and I done that before. I start praying loud
Mhm.
too, and she started praying like, God, please take me out of here, take me out of here, help me, help me, I need help, I need help. And she said on the interview, I hope the guys that are listening to the program can find the interview. I forgot the name of the actress, but she said she started listening a voice, and the voice starts saying to her, "Okay, you're gonna take next right. At the end of the street, turn
Mhm.
left. All the way, turn right." And then she was like, left, right, left, right, left, right. And in just minutes, she finally could let these guys disappear out of her mirror because they couldn't trace her anymore. So
Mm.
that voice that I think was a guardian angel and was taking care of her years ago. And I just telling this to people. I didn't know when the GPS came out for the first time. I just was following the GPS with my blind eyes, like, yeah, if the GPS is that way, it's because it's that way. But sometimes the GPS get wrong when they go to a dirt road, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to a dirt road. I was working, and I have to visit a customer like 2 hours away from Atlanta. And then the GPS said you have to go to this dirt road. So I go to this dirt road and I go up the mountain, down the mountain, up the mountain, down the mountain. Start getting dark. Then the roads start coming just one road instead of two roads. It started getting very very small. I was like, oh my god, what's going on? And I was going like super high in the mountain, and I was scared because it was all dirt road. It's you're going with the car, and the poor car was feeling everything, all the rocks and all the stuff. And then when I getting to the top of the mountain, it started raining really hard. And then like mud, they start coming down of the mountain. And I was like, okay, I need to hurry up out of here. So when I get to the top of the mountain, that I try to go through the other side of the mountain to find the road that's gonna take me wherever I'm supposed to go. It was a huge tree in the middle of the road. Like,
Oh no.
yeah. And looking on the side, it was a hole all the way down, who knows. And I said, I don't have any options here. I don't know what I'm gonna do. My phone, the service was out. I was getting dark. I couldn't get out of there. I couldn't turn around the car because it was one way. And I was like, think, what I should do. And then I heard, you're gonna turn your car in backwards, all the way backwards. And what I did, I started praying because I was scared. I said, well, if I try to pass the tree around the tree, there is a hole all the way down the mountain. And I'm gonna go through that hole and I'm gonna die, and nobody's gonna find me here. But I'm gonna do what this voice is telling me. Just grab my wheel and start going backwards all the way. And I did it, and I started praying loud, and I felt it that it was. I mean, it took me like half an hour to get there, and I felt like in 5 minutes I was already out of the mountain, completely safe. And I was like, oh my god. So I'm telling you, if you are in a situation like that actress or like me, that I was lost, you start praying loud and ask for help, and you will see how this you're gonna start hearing the voice that's gonna guide you. Sometimes it could happen to you. You go to a mall and you want to get to a store, and it's like, oh, I would love to get to the store, and then you start walking, and out of the blue, you're in front of the store, and you don't know what guide you there, and you've never been to this mall before. It never happened to you, Ingrid, or finding an address or something?
Yeah, I think is my screen frozen,
Yeah,
Carlos?
yeah, you're
Oh
frozen again.
no,
No,
this
it's
is
okay.
happening
It's
again.
okay.
So
No, but you have a good face there, so continue.
because yeah, I will try to then join from my phone in a minute. This is not working, but I don't know why this is happening to my computer that keeps freezing.
You got
But
your phone there?
yeah, but I can if my voice is good, I can tell
Yeah,
story,
your
and I
voice
will
is
try
good.
to get in my phone in a minute. But
Sure.
yeah, one of the things that I wanted to share is that sometimes, let's see if I join from here and it works.
There you go. You're
Oh,
there.
but
Oh, you need to turn it off the other.
let's see if I can silence the other one. Let me do something here. Hello.
There you go.
Okay. Wow, but now I
Perfect.
remove the other screen. Is kind, but hey, we have just a little black spot there. But
Go ahead. That's the hole that I was going through the mountain down. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me
so
your story. There you go.
yeah, look, we solved it somehow. So at least coming from here, let's see if this other there. Okay.
This is happening when it's live, guys.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
We
Okay.
were before disconnected and nothing was happening. But I think this is just the amount of energy that we have and
Yeah. And everybody that's joining.
us. But
Thank you.
yeah, I have to say that for example, there was a time, Carlos, in which we went to this hotel with my husband, and then
Okay.
we're going to ask a contract to just get into one of those timeshares or something like
Okay.
that. And it was the time where it was a while ago. and before we went and signed the thing and everything else, but the night before, I had a dream.
Okay, what
And
happened?
this dream was almost like when you say that you were having a pretty,
A premonition?
let's call it a lucid dream, yeah, because it
Okay.
was that vivid, that clear. And in the
Mm-hmm.
dream, I saw an X,
Mm-hmm.
like a bed, a hotel bed with an X mark
Like,
on.
do not stay there.
And it was pretty much like the sense of like, whatever you're going to do, don't do it.
Okay.
But it's this thing that you just like, you're not sure about what is going on. And then I went and we signed that contract. And then in the middle of the night, I woke up with the clear voice saying, read the contract cover to cover. And
Okay.
I stood up from the bed. I went to the bathroom and quiet, and I read the whole thing. And it's when I realized, wow, if we get into this, we're never going to be free of this thing, whatever. And then it was when my husband woke up and I said, we have, and you have, I think it was like 2 weeks, or there was a certain number of days, or a month, to cancel this. And it has to be written and it has to be, but if it wasn't for that,
Mm-hmm.
like again, at the beginning, I didn't listen. Then when the voice came and said clearly, then is when I decided, this is clear, let's follow this voice. And it could happen, like you mentioned, for anything. There's times in life when sometimes people need validation,
Mm-hmm.
and that could happen. Like again, there was another time when we were about to do some or I was about to do some work with some people, and my inner was kind of saying, nah, don't do it. But it was a moment where I wasn't although I was listening to the voice with
Mm-hmm.
clarity, there was that fire in my mind that in a way I wanted to do some
Yeah.
work with people.
Because you fight against the voice, like, why? Why not? Let me
Yes,
do
yes,
it, like,
it
what's gonna
right.
happen?
And sometimes it's like, so I went and I said, okay. And I said, being so like being really sneaky. Those days there was a lot of I remember there was a lot of dragonflies happening. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know why there was so many. And then I said, okay, if the answer is yes, show me a dragonfly. So I put it really hard because I'm like, there's dragonflies everywhere. So
Mm-hmm.
my mind really kind of wanted to do this thing. And then I said, and if the answer is no, show me a yellow butterfly.
Okay.
And then next day I was doing some gardening. I was actually doing some work with my dad that was visiting.
Mm-hmm.
And then right there next to us on the ground, a beautiful, completely yellow butterfly.
Butterfly. Wow.
So I said, people, sometimes if you feel that you're not sure, or or your mind is fighting it, then, or you don't get to the point like going into the surrender, ask for for some kind of sign, like, okay, show me the
Show
answer.
me.
And you'll see that people say they can do it in the sense that they will see a billboard, they will see an owl, they will see a butterfly or a flower, or whatever you're asking will kind of manifest somehow.
No, I hear you. Years ago, here I have another example in Atlanta. It was a really bad storm around 6 p.m. Everybody was in my office. I don't know how many people there, like 50 people, and like in s- in minutes, the whole street was covered with snow, like full of snow and everything. And my boss said, "Well, everybody's is gonna have to sleep here tonight." And I was like, "Nope." Even if I walk from here to my house, I don't want to sleep here. I'm going. And then I was like, should I go or should I not? And I heard like this voice like, go, nothing's gonna happen. And I grabbed my car and I turned it on and I started driving home. I was the only car in the highway, and the snow was covering my car side to side. Like I said before, I was praying too. and it felt like 5 minutes. And I forgot when I get out of the highway, the ramp was all the way up, and the snow was. I mean, I was scared because I didn't want to slide my car all the way down, but I did it very slow, so I get to the top, and then when I get home, it was inclined down, but it was perfect. I get home super safe. I felt it. I felt it on my heart. Everything's gonna be fine, you know. And many times we have to follow that, you know. If you go into exam or if you go to a doctor and you're scared because the doctor is gonna tell you something about you about some exams, just ask yourself: Is everything okay? Everything's gonna be fine, you know.
Yeah, yeah. This is something really important that people ask me about our spirit guides, or
Mm-hmm.
if we have the sense that we're communicating with our guardian angel or any kind of
Mm-hmm.
golden beings of light. And people ask me, how you know that those are like good, are not some weird strange beings or evil thing talking to you. And I think the most important thing about anything, Carlos, is that any guide, any
Mm-hmm.
ascended master, angel, being, or any guru, anyone, even in the spirit world or in the physical world,
Mm-hmm.
that is guiding you to look within
Yes, with love too.
the true
Loving and with the yeah.
heart. Yes, that is the truth. If anyone from any realm come and say, I am your teacher, I am your master, I am the one, I just say, run and run. Because since I was very little, even the beings of light said to me, do not
Mm-hmm.
do whatever we say without you experiencing it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It was always that sense of like, don't believe what we say, just blinded
Mm-hmm.
the guidance, but
Mm-hmm.
go within and always experience are how it is. And that way you also learn to get in touch with your heart, to get in touch with the voice, the intelligence of your heart, and act from there, from that place of silence, from that place of quiet, from that place of stillness.
Mm-hmm.
The answer, you know what to do. So it once people, the beings of light didn't tell me what to do, and they said, "What?" But they're telling you what to do, and I said, "No, there's guidance.
Mm-hmm.
Up to you to follow that guidance or not."
You have free will, so it's very important because of your free will. If you ask for help, they have to help you. But if you don't ask for help and you want to do what you want to do, then it's up to you. You know, I've been in situations that people invite me, hey, let's go to a concert or something, and as soon as I get to the door of the concert and I cross the door, I feel immediately get out of here now. And I was like, oh, and I was like, no, I was like, get out. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen. I
Yeah,
don't know why. I don't want to know why neither, you know, but maybe something's going to happen later. So I just better listen. Before, when I was, I don't know, a teenager, I never, it was really hard for me to follow this voice. But as an adult, when I see what's happening after you don't listen this voice, is when you get in trouble, you know, and definitely you have to listen.
you know, Carlos, there was I have this huge story. There was a time when I was being very, very overwhelmed. I just have finished my book. I
Hmm.
actually at the time working for the U.S. Navy. I had my son, my husband was traveling. I was writing this book, like very overwhelming time.
Hmm.
I really didn't have more meaning for nothing else than just work and work and work. And then I was at the moment when my book already had, I think it been like a year, I would say, that my book had come out. And then I heard the voice, and it was that, again, that loving, compassionate, clear voice. And I felt it in my heart that said, you have to slow down. And it was, and again, when people ask me, and we can talk about that after, how is the voice, how do you hear, how is that perception of the voice, is this something from outside, from inner? We can talk more about it, but at this moment it was that clarity, and the voice said to me, you have to slow down. And I said, yeah, right. How am I going to slow down? I mean, like, I have all these things to do. I have a house to take care of, a job, a son, a book. And I said, I slow down when I can slow down. Then I was driving my car, and suddenly a police stopped me. I didn't know why. I didn't know what I did. Why this I'm being stopped, but okay. And the moment that the police came to my window, it was incredible, because I even asked, what did I do, officer? And then he said, I'm warning you. All I want you to do is to slow down.
Wow.
I was, I could not believe, I was, what is going on? And this person said nothing. He just repeated again, all I want you to do is to slow down.
Oh wow. The police.
He left, took his car and left, and I knew the message was that real. And guess what? Because those days, I mean, and I was so really, really so busy, Carlos. Again, I thought I had a very successful career,
Yeah.
very job. The feeling inside was that I had to leave that job, and my
Mm.
feeling inside is that I was ready to serve,
Mm.
but I was still thinking, how am I going to job? What is my thing? What is my whole? I cannot just do it. What the world is going to think is all these thing in the head of like judgment. And then I just said, whenever I'm ready, I will do what I have to do. But I had all this fear. Guess what? 3 days after that, it was Thanksgiving Day, and I had some friends that were invited to my house. And 4 in the morning, I woke up thinking I had a heart attack.
Oh wow.
And I grabbed my arm, and my chest was in pain. I felt like fire. I said, I'm going to die.
Oh
And then
wow.
called one of the friends that was coming, and I told her, you have to take me to the hospital. I think I'm having a heart attack. And when I was taken to the hospital, and my blood pressure was like 210 over 170, something ridiculous, like so high
Wow.
that my whole neck, everything was red. And I was like, but incredibly, I'm sitting there all lucid, pretty much calm. And then they didn't know what was happening. And they took all the blood tests. And what happened is that my potassium had dropped
Oh
dramatically.
wow.
And then they asked me if I had been sick, if I had a cold, if I had diarrhea, anything. Nothing.
Mm.
And then, okay, I had to be 1 day in the hospital. I went home, and it was again this feeling that you have to slow down. You have to slow down. And then it took me 2 times at the hospital, Carlos, to go
Wow.
with the same thing. And again, my potassium had dropped. Nobody could explain why. And the moment I said, okay, I get it, I'm listening, I'm done with this. But the other important thing that happened, Carlos, was that the fear was gone.
Oh wow.
And that day in the hospital, I say, Monday, I'm quit. And
Mm.
I healed. Nothing ever. At the moment I went there, I could
Happened.
up, and it was not that it was not. I would just say the universe was demanding this, but it was. Remember, our higher self is working, is co-creating with the universe, and our higher self knows best. And it was really clear that if I was to keep up with that train of work, I was going to really get sick. So it was my
Wow.
wisdom saying enough and but I had to be in the hospital twice before I listened.
Wow. Ingrid, we have a lot of people that they're asking questions. I think we should start telling what we think.
I completely agree. So let's go and answer some of these questions that we have here. So I'm going to go in
Go.
the questions we said. We have Yadira saying how we can do that, why some people be able to listen their inner voice and others not, including me included.
Hmm. What do you think?
I think that this is mainly because the mind is too busy.
Hmm.
Sometimes we don't even realize it. We might say, "No, Ingrid, but I meditate," or "I." No, imagine that there's when we talk about the mind being busy,
Hmm.
we're also talking about the mind being when it's focalized or when the focus of attention is in the outer reality or is in the work of life or in the doings of every day.
Hmm.
That is noise. Also, when we have many emotions that are inside of us that are not resolved, when we have a lot of um, stuff in the mind that had not been resolved, we haven't taken care of, there's inner noise. I just say when there's a lot of garbage inside ourselves, there's a lot of noise, and when there's a lot of the mind is busy. When the mind is busy, we cannot listen. Like the ears are blocked, like
It is like that, yeah.
block.
It is like that. I was reading what PB was asking. I guess she's asking, does this voice it come to you as a single voice or as a chorus of voices? For me, it come like a single voice, you know. And another thing that I noticed with the inner voice is every time that I've been listening more and more to this voice, the volume of this voice is getting higher. You know, I feel like because I'm paying attention more, you know, it's getting higher. And Rosa said down PB, she said, it's usually speak out loud to God, angels, and guys while I drive. That's what she said. Thanks God for the car play. I no longer looks like I'm crazy, like you are the crazy one. And then H. Coward said, PB, for me, is very subtle. One word or a phrase, the same for me. One word of a phrase, you know, very soft, and then it's easy to miss it if one has too much chatter in their head like me. Yeah, if you have too many noise in your head, you can miss that. But in my case, I don't know in anybody that is listening, that thing repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats, like very subtle repeats several times, you know, like do this, do this, do this, do this, until you're like, what? Until you get it, it's like, why? The thing is not start questioning why. I heard last week a lot of interviews of multimillionaires, guys, and this multimillionaire said, I am where I am because I hear my inner voice. Even Oprah Winfrey was saying the same thing. Sometimes my inner voice said, "Get out of here, go there," and she's like, "But it doesn't have any sense. Just do it." And she did, and she said, "Well, that brought me to a better place every time, just listening my inner voice." And like her, a lot of people that have been very, very successful, they don't question that inner voice. They just do what the inner voice is telling them, you know. Because and you can feel it in your heart that is something good. You don't feel like it's something fishy here. No, you know that it doesn't feel. In my case, it doesn't feel bad. It happened to you, Ingrid, when you
Yeah.
hear that voice and tell you to do something, you feel like it's good.
Yes, and it comes in different ways,
Yeah.
Carlos. It's the like I was mentioning at the beginning when I the beings of light, what I call beings of
Hmm.
light,
Hmm.
many kind of different beings of light. We call them angels, ascended masters,
Hmm.
uh, all kind of different beings, and then there's a different let's say sometimes you're listening from the guidance that come from a guide or that comes from ascended master or an angel, or is the sense of that a voice is communicating with you. And sometimes it's the sense that your inner voice, your higher self, is communicating with you. So have that sense that is that knowing from within, but at the same time we have to know that we're co-creating with the universe, so
Mm-hmm.
all interconnected at the end. When somebody asks if he's a one voice of a choir of voices, I have heard it in all different ways. Sometimes and I remember when I was little, it happened a lot that I would be surrounded by hundreds
Wow.
of light, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't see their faces. I just saw them as light, and I know who was talking. So in some cases, it felt more. It was like a telepathic communications. In other cases, it felt like I was actually really kind of hearing a voice that was like when a human is talking to us. In other cases, it was just a deep felt sense, and in other cases, it was more like the sense of a chill, like, oh, yeah, this is actually that someone is talking, and you feel this chill that you're like, yeah, this resonates with me. This
Mm-hmm.
feels
It feels right. It feels right. It feels
right.
in your heart. Yeah.
So there's many ways to feel it, and I have had experiences where I hear choirs and it was absolutely incredibly beautiful. So I just say that the more we explore, the more,
Mm-hmm.
and the more we calm the mind, the more we open to even more and deeper experience. Yeah.
The more we surrender and the more we're open to
Yes.
listen this voice, I feel sometimes there is like a team of angels working for us, like in a control panel, and it's like, let me see how can I help her, or can I help him some way somehow, let me, I don't know, throw somebody in front of him and can tell something that he's needed right now, and yeah, sometimes, I don't know if it happened to you, but sometimes I'm walking on the street and somebody stop me and say, hey, I just want to let you know that everything's going to be fine, okay? And then continue walking. I was like, what was that, and in that moment you're full of problems. It's like, what, like, how? So I guess that was your angels. They're sending somebody to tell you something, and it's amazing the way the communication, or you're looking for an answer, and then you're driving, and then you see a banner on the street say, yes, everything will be fine, don't worry, I was like, oh my god, like, I was just asking right now, this banner came out of the blue, or on the TV, something that you're asking for, the answer come on the TV, or advertisement in your phone, I was like, wow. Yeah, look, you have more questions. Could you read another one?
Yes, but I also was going to say
Yeah.
something, Carlos, and you're saying it. The asking part is so important.
Yeah. If you don't ask, you don't want to receive anything.
Yes, we have to ask. So this is funny because the being so like said, learn to ask the right questions and you will get the right answers. And I asked, like, what if I don't know the question? Then you ask, what is the question?
And
And and you
the,
might know at the moment when you're asking, but later you're sleeping, you are taking a shower, you're washing your hands, the dishes, and then you now no, because your mind, this is the other thing, when the
Mhm,
like focalize in like an answer is expecting something that already had created like a blockage, because you
mhm,
expect that this is this.
mhm.
The moment you just completely, and that's part of surrendering, you
Yeah,
let go, and you go, you ask the universe, you're now taking a shower, you sleeping, you quiet and calm your mind, the answer comes. Or
yeah.
like you're driving and suddenly the billboard, like, oh, that's what I was just asking. So that's how it happens.
And I just want to remember everybody, it's on the Bible. On the Bible, Matthew 7:7 said, ask and shall be given, knock and shall be open, look and you will find. But if you don't do any of those, you're never going to find out. So it's better just to ask.
So we have somebody here saying, can your higher self have full polite conversations, or is it subtle too, and full on conversation like two people talking is my head?
For me, it's just they just come straight with the answer that I'm looking for. They don't start. In my case, they just give me the guidance that I need. They're not gonna start, in my case, telling me like, no, Carlos, because if you think about this and this and this, no, they just tell me straight away what I should do, like right away. When you're doubtful, the answer comes like, is this, you know?
Yes, yes. In my case, it's like it works the same. You have the question, and then for me sometimes the answer can come like a full download, like now I have a knowing of an entire. And one thing I do, and I think this is very important for a lot of people, Carlos, if these kind of downloads happen
Mm-hmm.
when you wake up in the middle of the night or in the morning, always have a notebook and write it down,
Mm-hmm.
because this is something really incredible. There was one time a person asked me, why do I forget when I get these incredible messages? And then I asked the being so live, why do we forget? And then now I got the download, and it says, because the mind cannot remember the ways of the divine. The mind is very limited, and the moment the mind grabs something and try to do the interpretation
Information.
and the other thing, even if the mind can even remember it, or you might say, I will remember it tomorrow. You don't, because it's not of the mind.
Yeah.
And at that very moment when you feel it, write it down, even if you just write in the core of the teaching, the substance of the teaching. And it's that profound. So that's how it happens. Like, again, you can receive a full download, a full sense of that you are receiving a whole bunch of knowledge. Yes, that's incredibly powerful. We have um,
David.
David saying, I feel sad for life on the planet with climate change. Everything is temporary, is what my guidance said. But how can we ask for the earth to be safe, for nature and animals and plants and insects? So I would just say, the responsibility of absolutely everything is in each one of us.
Mm-hmm.
I said to people, we cannot fight and keep a fight for others to do the right thing. Even if it's a little bitty, every one of us can create the peace on earth. If you save the pets, if you save the insects, if each one of us put a little bit and teach the others by example, then we can create more and more and more consciousness. Look, when I work with the mangrove ecosystems project for
Mm-hmm.
Colombia, it was not about forbidding people
Mm-hmm.
from sources. It was about creating consciousness about. And incredibly, people started to develop this love for the resource and started to grow the mangroves and started to understand, if we save it, we'll have a generations to come with this resource. And we show them the importance of each one of us being responsible. The being so light always said to me, do not worry for what others do.
Mm-hmm.
Don't care, but because you care so much, that you correct yourself first. So that sentence, that is kind of like, it says it's a slogan, but it's really not a slogan. Is the truth. Be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah. I just passed that to your mind by Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi. I was about to tell you the same thing, the same slogan. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you want to see a change, just do it yourself. Be the example for others. Be the
yeah.
change you want to be in the world.
And
Definitely, 100%.
it's nothing compared. Yeah, but somebody has to start.
Yeah.
Somebody has to start. And if it's you, and then your son learn from you, and your son pass it to the neighbor or the friend, then we start creating that consciousness.
Yeah. Have you ever see these people that plant one tree 1 year and then in 20 years they plant 20,000 trees, or they start planting a flower and then years later they have the whole mountains full of flowers. So they start something, you know. They were the example for others to follow, you know.
Yeah.
They're they're putting the example right there.
Yes, yes, exactly. So it's like, what can I do? What can I do? And stop being. I think what happened is that we are, let's call it, reacting
Hmm.
in response. It's like reacting. Look at what the neighbor. Look at what the world is doing. Look what others are doing. No, stop being reactive and start being responsive. What can I do? And be that force that generates change. So it's always start from here, from here. You know, when people say, "Oh, but you know, the world is at war. How I am no one. How can I create peace in the world?" And I said, "You can do everything, or you can do nothing.
Yeah.
You can do nothing if you actually think in terms of the collective, but you can do everything when you look at yourself, and you become conscious of how are you being at home. Am I being peaceful with my family, with my husband, with my children, with myself?" And you become the creator of that peace, starting with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. I hear Lisa. She have a question. The two key. If I have heard something but have not yet done this, it is too late, or can I still do it? Do this? How do I break through resistance? Or how can resistance be overcome? I wish to write, but so difficult to start. Well, for me, I mean, to write the first book, I have a lot of resistance, you know, because I was like, I'm not a writer, you know, like, but then my inner voice was behind me all the times. You have to write it. You have to write it. You have to write it. And I, I was like, well, why? You know, like, why I need to do this? You know. But what I discovered, Lisa, is you have to push yourself. You know, it have to be something that come from you. I know it's hard, and the only thing that I can tell you, if you write a piece of paper with a marker and put your goals, 1, 2, 3. This is my first goal, and you have to be ready by this time. If you put your goal and if you put a date that need to be finished, you're gonna finish. It's when you go to school, and the teacher send you homework, and the teacher said for Friday this homework have to be ready. You know, as an adult, you don't have nobody behind you, but you have to do this on your own. You know, and maybe your inner voice is telling you do it and you don't want to do it, but it's, you know, that there is an urgency on you, you know. I mean, maybe something amazing is going to happen if you do that and you don't want to do it. I will tell you, start little. When you start writing, it's really hard to like to write a book, so you start little. Like, for example, every day just write 2, 3 lines, whatever come to your mind. Make it a habit, like every morning when you wake up, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, I mean, take a shower, then come make your coffee, sit down on your dining room table, have a pen and have a notebook there, and write like what I'm grateful for. Every day you can write what I'm grateful for. Grateful for my family, for my house, for my job, for nature around my house, for my friends, you know. And just writing every day a little bit, because you're gonna have resistance. You don't do this every day, you know, but doing it little by little, you're gonna start getting into the zone to do that. What do you think, Ingrid? And we have like almost 1 minute to get out.
Yeah.
It's almost 8.
Yeah, so with this we close, but you know what you're bringing up there, Carlos?
Mm-hmm.
The felt sense too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
are writing things that bring you to the sense of gratitude,
Yes.
joy, the sense of like where this is bringing me. When my book, look what happened with my book. When I was
Mm-hmm.
writing, and I had a lot of resistance too.
Mm-hmm.
when I received the message that it says, this is nothing to do with you and everything you can do for others.
Yeah.
Was my sense of that softened my heart. It was a sense like, what I'm going to do for others. This is my opportunity to serve. Is nothing to do with Ingrid.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when you start feeling the sense of joy, I was actually talking with my sister about that today. She was asking me, how can I be consistent? And I was saying, by finding the joy in what you're doing. So the moment you start finding the gratitude in what you're doing, or finding this way I'm going to, this illuminates my life, this makes me feel good, this brings light and life in the light in other people, you start bringing that sense of loving and feel of joy for whatever you're doing. So yeah, that's what brings you closer to the heart and to the action.
Yes, yes. Love and gratitude. Gratitude is for me has been one of the best things that I discovered since I start being more spiritual, like gratitude is amazing. It's really amazing. And I don't know if I told you, but last week somebody sent me a video clip of a doctor that he was, and everybody can Google this. He was saying that several scientific people was testing on laboratory the frequency of to see what frequency was higher, love, and they start different frequencies, right? And guess what? The frequency of be authentic, of being real, is 5 times more higher than the frequency of love. The frequency of be who you are.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
frequency to be the best you can as an, and I was like, what? Oh
You
my
know,
god.
because when you're your authentic self,
Hmm.
are in a state of bliss, you stay in a
Yeah,
state that joy, that and actually love is an ingredient of that too. So
definitely. Yeah.
vibrate so high. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
definitely. And with this, I think we're done for tonight.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, to stay with us the whole time and for your questions. And thank you for being with us. Do you have any other thing to say?
Oh, I'm just so glad, so happy that everybody was here with us tonight. And we will continue meeting every Wednesday and answering your questions. So, of course, if you have questions that you want that we talk about, things that we want that we talk about in this live show, write them on Facebook, or even people asking me if they could write them in the YouTube. Yes, or send us a comment through our websites. And we also, before we go, just want to put here our books, so you remember
Yeah.
that that's part of the work Carlos and I have done. And we're writing, we're being guided to write, each one of us to
That's
write.
our message for the world, that's our message that we're gonna leave behind for others to follow. I mean, for in a book, like people don't know, but when you write a book, you put all your heart inside of the book,
Yeah,
all your heart.
yes. So see you, Carlos, and see everybody.
Well, see you, everybody. God bless you. Have an amazing week, and
Gosh,
I see you next week. Take care.
thank you for being here. Bye.
Bye, from the heart. Send you a yeah.